Let's continue with curves. There's an option here for creating an arc, which is, some kind of mathematically correct curve here. If you want to create a kind of circle, maybe that's useful. Hit return, and now it's a curve object. I also can, it's not here in our shelf, but if I go to create curve tools and say CV curve tool, and I'm going to actually delete this curve, and I'm going to go to my orthographic top view and collapse my attribute editor, zoom out a little bit. And with my CV curve tool, our tool that we have selected always pops up here in our toolbar. That way we can access it again. If I go to select, my CV curve tool is the last tool that I use, so I can select it. This allows us to place control vertex points and build our curve this way. I wanted to show you this because if I go to control vertex here, curves always have a direction. They have a starting point and an end point. This is important if you're animating along them. And so the starting point is always you can always see it on the control vertex, is this little square, and then the second one is the U. So this just shows you the direction that this curve is pointing. This curve also has edit points, so it's really similar to the edit point curve tool. I also wanted to mention that if you did want to create curves with the Bezier curve tool, right, because this allows you to create sharp angles as well as soft curves. If I want to create edit points from this after I've created my Bezier curve, I can go to Modify, Convert, and say down here Bezier to NURBS. And that'll kind of make it a little bit faceted and really change the appearance of it. Let's go back and convert. And what you'll see here is it doesn't allow me to choose this option, but there's usually an option box. So this might not be the greatest way. I think if you have now these kind of sharp angles at the edit points. And we have a lot less edit points than I think, which is why we're getting the appearance that this has a kind of faceted look to it. So anyway, that's if you want to use this, that's an option for you, perhaps. I'm going to go back to my edit point curve tool though, and drop in some edit points and create a curve this way. So let's get into editing curves a little bit now. I'm in orthographic view, so I can't toggle, I can pan. I'm going to go to panels, back to my perspective view. Here's my curve I just generated. And there are a couple editing tools that are here in the shelf. The first one I'll show you is this splice tool. So I can create two curves from one curve by selecting an edit point and then slicing along it. Now I have the first curve and the second curve. Again, because my curve started here and went around this way, this will be my first curve, and then it will start again here, my second curve. If I want to join these two back up, I just select both curves and hit this select curve tool, and this will join these two curves back together. I have here the ability to create an offset curve, which means that I'm creating the same curve, only offsetting it. And if I go to my attribute editor here, I'm able to, with that offset curve, I have the option of choosing its distance from that first curve. So this could be handy for when you're generating surface forms to create offset curves like this. Some other tools that we have for modifying curves would be under the curve menu here. And so I have the ability to bend a curve. Let me delete all of these curves here. And let's see, let's go to bend amount. Let me go ahead and generate a new form with my freeform curve tool. And let's select bend. And now you can see that it's bending that curve along a particular kind of value. If I go to my options for the bend, it gives me an option to twist. And so this is just, I'm kind of twisting it away. These are just different tools that I would recommend to kind of play with. And the reason that I freeformed my curve here is because this gives me a tremendous amount of edit points, or enough edit points to be able to use these functions here. Bend and curl is another one. You want to make sure you have enough edit points in order to be able to use these tools. So curl will kind of apply a procedural program to manipulating that particular curve. And then again, this every tool has this little option, and this brings up the tools, the options for that tool that you're able to manipulate. Important to note also, I can go to edit and I can reset the settings of any of my options to reset it back to the default. So whenever you manipulate options for a particular tool, it will save those options for you. So if you want to get it back to the default, you're going to go ahead and say reset settings. And so now I can, if I hit curl curves, it will close this dialog box, but if I want to kind of play around, I can hit apply and it will leave it open. Okay, so I've really made quite a crazy curve there with that curl tool. Let me delete these two. Oh, let me undelete that. I can also, do the reverse switches to smooth them out, or I can just go ahead and straighten it, right, which will just generate a straight line, but it still maintains all those edit points. Okay. I am able to, let's see what else we can do here. We have we have the ability to attach and detach again, like we have here in our shelf. And then I have the ability to, this is another good one, is open close, which is important. Let me create a quick EP curve, and this program is different than, let's say, Illustrator, which is if you kind of click on the endpoint, it will automatically close your path, but that's not the case with Maya. In order to be able to close a curve, I have to perform this operation, which is to go to curves and say open close. So now this has a closed. Now this is a closed curve, meaning that the start and the end of it are the same point. Okay, so you need to make sure that you do that. And if I want to, you can go ahead and go and open, and that will undo that action.